So how do you see the role of humanity? What's the role of humanity?
It doesn't have one.
No role at all? No, not even to play the game
story.
Of finding
to have
oneness.
A role is to have a story.
It is a story.
I think there's something very interesting going on in the world at the moment, if I may.
Yeah, please.
And that is that the psyche in the individual is shifting. The recent stuff that's happening in the Middle East and other things that happen is a sign of that. What's actually happening is that authority, as we have known it for many years, for thousands of years, patriarchal authority is collapsing. Actually, there's a fundamental response to that, fundamentalist response, but actually authority, both political and religiously, is actually collapsing. That's what we're watching, the collapse of that. When you see the things in the Middle East happening, it's an authority in a building somewhere, and in the streets there's all these people milling around. It's like people, me's, or lots of people are like life happening, saying, freedom, we want to be free, we want to be free. Okay, they're still wanting something for themselves, but it's a sign of something that's happening in the world that's very fascinating. It's frightening in that what's happening, as far as I'm concerned, is that authority is collapsing, and what's taking its place is anarchy. And different things in the world that are happening are pointing to that. And the strange thing about the open secret message, which is no one's message, is that it's absolute pure anarchy. Because it's not fighting against anything like one would think.
Well, it dismantles all the systems.
But it's completely dismantled systems, and it doesn't recognise in any way any sort of authority. It doesn't recognise authority. There's no authority. There's no tradition. There's no hierarchy. All there is what's happening. That's why I think my sense is that I'm talking all over Europe, there's hundreds, thousands of people from teams. That wouldn't have happened 50 years ago. Because authority still had a stranglehold. The religious authority, the authority of the so-called enlightened teachers who were teaching enlightened Buddhism and all that, had an authority in them. And people are beginning to recognise that has no relevance. Fascinating.
So there's no cause and effect in your message?
Oh no. Well, there's no cause and effect. Let's be clear. There's something called a story, which comes only out of the dream. Well, it's the dream story of individuality. Within that dream story, there is apparent cause and effect.
Okay.
The cause and effect.
This is the illusion of individuality.
Something subject-object, cause and effect.
Yeah. I was wondering when I was driving down to see you, Tony, is your message in a sense a placebo? Do you know what I mean by that?
I do know what you mean, and it absolutely isn't. It's a bullet.
Okay.
It's one of the things I like that was said by Mr. Gadata.
Go on.
I like some of the stuff he said, although I find some of his stuff quite prescriptive. It's an explosion. It's an explosion. It just blows the whole sense of this up, and the story that it had, and all the ideas it had about itself and its story. And of course it completely turns over the whole social structure that we believe in.
Amazing.
It is. Amazing. In Amsterdam I'm called the Terminator.
Because you're terminating individuality.
I'm not, but this is.
No, you're not.
It's got nothing to do with
it.
This has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It just comes out.
Yeah. But you are still the messenger, as I said earlier.
No, I'm not. Well, you might think that.
Who is the messenger?
There isn't one.
There isn't one.
No.
And
there isn't one because there's nothing here.
Okay.
You see, there's only what happens. So what comes out has no agenda because it's not coming from.
Okay.
Oh,
don't worry, we'll stop. Pause there. We'll start again. Don't worry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
if you want to just pause for about 10 seconds and then start, and then I can cut it straight back in.
Do you actually cut the film?
Not literally, no. It's all done on the computer with
So
software.
this is a card?
It's very easily. Yeah, it's a card. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put that in the outtakes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So you see, because there's nothing happening here, because there's no longer any pearl or centre or individual here.
Yeah.
What is being communicated is coming out of nothing.
Mm.
Actually, everything comes out of nothing. Even you asking questions is actually nothing talking, but it comes through the filter of the mind that wants to ask questions.
Yeah.
But the message is coming out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's why there's a resonance in there's a resonance happens, but it has no agenda.
Mm.
So in that sense, it's completely different to there's no connection with this and what I call the personal message of becoming.